They be damn near fighting every night. Hey, bro, chill out with that shit.
I heard Boston was a little crazy last night. I heard
niggas be fighting damn near every night. Hey, bro, y'all chill out, blah.
Oh my goodness! I'm sorry.
I ain't gonna lie, them little niggas, they crash outs. They good little niggas though, and I love them, right?
Yeah.
But when I'm around, it's cool. I fuck with them, they fuck with me, and they respect.
It was about to be an altercation. There was like a bunch of commotion. He walked in the middle of it. He talked to the dude. All the security kind of ran up. If you think somebody touching Birdman back here, you out of your damn mind. I don't know if it was an argument or whatever. He got in there and he was just like, yo, let's calm this down. Hold on. And he got both of them dudes who seemingly that could have been like a little situation. I don't know if it would be a fight or whatever. They look at him like, yo, this is the biggest blood out here, man. Like this, yo, he got all the respect in the world.
Knew that Stunna never loved me. Should have listened to Carter. That one bar sent shockwaves through hip-hop. When NBA YoungBoy dropped Tears of War in June 2024, nobody expected him to aim at Birdman. Not like that. Not directly, not by name. Stunna isn't subtle. That's Birdman's nickname. And Carter? That's Lil Wayne, the same Wayne who once rapped about telling YoungBoy to watch out for old heads in the industry. This wasn't a vague lyric bloggers had to decode. It was surgical. Within minutes of the track surfacing online, social media exploded. Fans clipped the line. Hip-hop pages ran headlines. Comment sections turned into debates. Was YoungBoy exposing something? Was this about contracts, loyalty, abandonment? The timing made it heavier. YoungBoy was already dealing with intense legal pressure. Years of house arrest in Utah, federal scrutiny, isolation from the touring circuit. He was making millions but couldn't move freely, couldn't perform, couldn't live like a typical superstar. And right in the middle of that storm, he dropped a line questioning whether the mentor who once called him family ever truly cared. That's why it hit different. This wasn't clout chasing. Birdman had publicly praised him for years. They made music together, did interviews together, looked locked in. So when YoungBoy said he should have listened to Wayne, it felt like history repeating itself. But that wasn't even the deepest part, because to understand why this diss shook the culture, you have to look at Birdman's past. Before you judge YoungBoy's words, you have to understand who they were aimed at. Birdman isn't just a rapper, he's a mogul. Yet the co-founder of Cash Money Records, the man who helped turn New Orleans into a hip-hop powerhouse. Without him, there is no Hot Boys era, no early Lil Wayne dominance, no Cash Money empire, but his legacy comes with controversy. Over the years, multiple artists publicly questioned their contracts under Cash Money. Juvenile left, Manny Fresh left, Tyga spoke out. And the most explosive moment came in 2015 when Lil Wayne filed a $51 million lawsuit against Cash Money over unpaid royalties and delayed albums. That wasn't small drama. That was the biggest artist on the label saying he wasn't getting what he believed he was owed. Court documents surfaced. Financial disputes became public conversation. And although the lawsuit was eventually settled, the damage to Birdman's reputation stuck. To some fans, it created a pattern, a powerful executive, young talent, contract tension, silence when conflict hits. Now fast forward to NBA YoungBoy, a generational star. Young, emotional, extremely successful. When he hinted that Birdman never truly loved him, listeners didn't dismiss it as random. They connected dots to history. That's why the bar didn't just trend, it triggered memory. Because when a new artist echoes something an older legend once fought, it stops sounding like coincidence. And that's when people started asking a dangerous question. Was Wayne trying to warn him all along? Here's what most people forget. When NBA YoungBoy recorded Tears of War, he wasn't moving like a typical superstar. He wasn't on tour. He wasn't in clubs. He wasn't even outside like that. He was confined. After a series of legal issues, YoungBoy spent years on strict house arrest in Utah. No touring, limited visitors, heavy surveillance, federal pressure building in the background. Imagine being one of the most streamed rappers in the world and stuck in your living room. That isolation changes you. 2021 through 2024, he dropped project after project. Mixtapes, albums, videos, constant output. While other artists needed promo runs and radio appearances, YoungBoy fed his fanbase directly through YouTube and streaming platforms. The numbers were insane. Despite confinement, he became one of the most RIAA certified rappers of his generation. Plaques stacked up, streams kept climbing, and he did it without heavy industry cosign. But here's the emotional side. Isolation amplifies thoughts. When you're locked in one place for years, you replay conversations. Not you rethink promises, you evaluate who showed up and who didn't. Birdman had once called him a billion-dollar artist, a generational talent, but during the toughest stretch of YoungBoy's legal battle, the public didn't see much visible support beyond surface-level statements. That's where doubt creeps in. Not about fame, not about money, about loyalty. And when someone feels alone during their darkest chapter, even small absences feel louder. By the time YoungBoy hit the booth for Tears of War, this wasn't just industry, it was bottled emotion. And that emotion would connect directly to something Wayne said years earlier. Sometimes the warning is there, but you don't recognize it until it's too late. Years before Tears of War, Lil Wayne dropped a line that now feels prophetic. On a 2020 track, Wayne rapped about telling NBA YoungBoy to watch out for old heads in the industry. At the time, it sounded like a casual bar, a veteran giving advice to a young star. Nothing dramatic, no one connected it to Birdman directly, but context changes everything. Wayne's history with Birdman isn't minor. They were once inseparable, mentor and protege. Wayne called him father, Birdman called him son. Cash Money built its empire around Wayne's success. Then came the lawsuit. Public disputes, delayed albums, accusations of unpaid royalties. Years of tension before a settlement finally closed the chapter. So when Wayne mentioned warning YoungBoy about old heads, fans didn't brush it off after the diss dropped. They went back, replayed the lyric, connected the timeline. Because now YoungBoy was saying, should have listened to Carter. That's not random wording. That's acknowledgement. It suggests Wayne tried to give him game, tried to protect him from repeating history. And YoungBoy at the time didn't see the red flags. Here's what makes it powerful. YoungBoy grew up idolizing Wayne. He represents the next Louisiana superstar in that lineage. If Wayne quietly tried to guide him, that turns this whole situation from simple business fallout into generational deja vu. One legend warning the next. One student learning the hard way. And when you frame it like that, Tears of War stops sounding like a diss. It starts sounding like regret. When Tears of War hit, the culture expected fireworks, a response track, an Instagram statement, a phone call leak, but Birdman did none of that. He stayed quiet, and that silence amplified everything. Because when NBA YoungBoy accused him of never truly loving him and referenced Wayne's warning, that wasn't light shade, that was a direct shot at character. In hip-hop, reputation is everything. Birdman built his image as the street executive who stands by his artists. He publicly defended YoungBoy before. He hyped him up in interviews. He called him the future. So when YoungBoy questioned that love, fans waited for Birdman to clear it up. Nothing came, no denial, no explanation, no receipts showing support during YoungBoy's house arrest years. Now, silence can mean many things. It can mean legal strategy, it can mean maturity, it can mean not wanting to give a diss more oxygen. At Birdman's level, sometimes ignoring something makes it fade. But this didn't fade, because Birdman has history. Often when someone with that history chooses silence instead of clarity, people read into it. Some saw it as boss energy, not stooping to online drama. Others saw it as confirmation that maybe there wasn't much to defend. Meanwhile, YoungBoy's fans rallied behind him. His streaming numbers didn't dip. If anything, they surged. The power dynamic had shifted. For the first time, Birdman wasn't the architect of the narrative. He was reacting to one by not reacting at all. And just when it seemed like this would turn into a permanent split, something nobody expected happened in New Orleans. Just when it looked like the bridge was burned for good, the entire dynamic flipped. In 2025, NBA YoungBoy received a presidential pardon that changed everything. After years of legal restrictions and house arrest, he was finally free to move, tour, want, and operate without the same federal pressure hanging over him. And once he stepped outside, he went crazy. His tour numbers exploded. Sold out arenas, massive ticket sales, industry headlines calling it one of the highest-grossing rap runs of the year. For someone who built his dominance from a Utah living room, this was a full-circle moment. And here's the twist. Birdman was suddenly back around. Not hiding, not distant, visible, appearing at shows, walking with him in New Orleans, getting on stage, supporting publicly. That timing didn't go unnoticed. Some fans saw it as reconciliation, two Louisiana legends putting differences aside. Growth, maturity, brotherhood restored. Others weren't convinced, because the moment YoungBoy regained full mobility and started generating serious touring revenue, Birdman reappeared at nearly every major stop. That raised eyebrows. Was this mentorship or positioning? YoungBoy at this point didn't need industry machinery the way previous generations did. His fan base was direct. His independence was proven. His leverage was real, which meant for the first time, he wasn't the young artist relying on Birdman's empire. He was the empire, and that changes how reconciliation works. When power shifts, relationships shift too. But the real question wasn't whether they linked back up, it was why, and whether this reunion was built on loyalty or business. If the diss shook the culture, the link-up confused it. In August 2025, fans spotted NBA YoungBoy and Birdman together in New Orleans. Not awkwardly, not from a distance. Together, walking Canal Street, security around them, throwing money to fans, smiling, hugging, moving like nothing ever happened. The internet froze for a second. Was this real? Was it staged? Was the beef over? Clips flooded social media. Comment sections turned into debates. Some celebrated it as growth. Two Louisiana legends squashing drama and protecting the city's legacy. Others immediately questioned the timing. Because, let's be honest, just a year earlier, YoungBoy publicly questioned whether Birdman ever loved him. That wasn't light tension, that was emotional. And now they were side by side again. Birdman even appeared on multiple tour stops, jumping on stage, hyping the crowd, running joints together. It looked unified, but unity in hip-hop doesn't always mean history disappears. YoungBoy is older now, more calculated, less reactive. In interviews, he said he doesn't carry pain the same way anymore. That growth could explain it. At the same time, Birdman is a seasoned executive. He understands proximity equals influence. Being visible next to one of the most powerful streaming artists alive carries weight. So what are we looking at? Maturity, business alignment, strategic optics? Maybe it's all three. Because sometimes reconciliation isn't about erasing the past. It's about recognizing where power stands now. And right now, the power dynamic is different than it was before Tears of War. Step back from the drama for a second. This story isn't just about NBA YoungBoy and Birdman. It's about a changing music industry. For decades, the model was simple. Young artist signs, executive controls distribution, label holds leverage. And if conflict happened, the artist usually lost. Contracts trapped them, releases got delayed, careers stalled. Look at what happened years ago with Lil Wayne and Cash Money. Even as a superstar, he had to fight publicly and legally to gain freedom. His leverage came late. YoungBoy's situation played out differently. He built a massive fan base through YouTube and streaming dominance. He dropped projects constantly. He didn't depend on radio spins or traditional promo circuits. Even during house arrest, his numbers climbed. That's new power. So when he voiced frustration, he wasn't speaking from weakness. He was speaking from independence. That changes everything. It means younger artists are watching this and learning something important. You don't have to stay silent anymore. You don't have to rely on one gatekeeper. You can build direct connection with fans. Birdman represents the old blueprint. YoungBoy represents the new one. And when those two worlds collide, tension is almost guaranteed. The reunion might be genuine. It might be strategic. It might be both. But one thing is clear. This wasn't just a diss. It was a signal. The balance of power in hip-hop isn't what it used to be, and the next generation is moving differently. Now, I want to know where you stand on this. Was that reunion real growth or smart business? Did YoungBoy forgive and move on? Or did he simply realize that keeping certain relationships close is better than keeping them loud? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm really curious how y'all see this. And don't just say they cool now. Break it down. Do you think Birdman changed? Or do you think YoungBoy just leveled up to a point where he can't be controlled anymore? If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button so more people can join the conversation. These industry stories aren't always black and white, and the more we unpack them, the clearer the bigger picture becomes. Also, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. We're breaking down real industry moves, not just headlines. When something shifts in hip-hop, you'll hear it here first. And trust me, This isn't the last chapter in this story. Stay locked in.